Hi, everybody. This is Clay. Thanks for tuning in again. So, we're doing our Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion heroes. There's one of them. So this guy, according to the side of the box, I'm not gonna show you, but he's got kind of a brown look to him. So I've got all of my speed paint markers here. Rather than show you all the markers, I'm going to show you the card. So I'm going to go with a combo with him of the, we're going to do the Gravelord Gray and the Hardened Leather with him. So probably like, I know his hat's going to be leather. I know his cape is going to be leather because it's kind of got a sturdy look to it because it's across the chest like that. His shirt there. And then we'll probably go gray and might even, yeah, I'll just make his boots grim black because that makes a lot of sense. Black boots. Alright, this guy has a red theme to him. So that'll just be different shades of whatever. She has white robes. And this guy, he's real small. And the details are kind of, they're not really there with him. So I'm going to do the best I can with him with the markers. We'll see how it goes. So let's get started. I already pulled the points out, the extra points. All this is brand new. Where's that hardened leather at? Oh, there we go. So it says on the side, push the tip into the lid to load paint. It's got a little diagram there, if you can see that. And again, hardened leather. Doink. Focus. Damn you. There we go. Hardened leather. Oh, look at that. All right. Let's just do it one more time. Okay. So that should be a fully loaded marker. And where's my dude? All right. Let's... Nope. I'll just switch hands. That's easy enough. Put on my handy dandy little magnificator. I got the one with the padded headband, two thingies, light. Okay, so where are we going to position this guy? We're going to go with right there. Alright, well, this is the first time I've used a marker, obviously. That's all right. I'm going to do that hat band there. I'm going to do a second coat, or possibly even dry brush it again. Alright, I'm going to stop right there. And move down to his cloak here. Try and skirt around those buttons. Like I said, try. Oops. But then again, that's nothing a little dry brushing won't fix later on down the line. Alright, so far I like working with these markers. They cover, I mean, they're just as unforgiving as a brush. They cover large areas. The paint just flows out of them. But when you need to get down to the small details, like around these little buttons, they're easy to work with. I'm impressed. Look at that. Doesn't that look pretty cool already? It is, yeah, it's pretty accurate to what's on the side of the box. I'll show you that later, maybe, if you're lucky. I don't know. Oh. Sorry about that, folks. Not very ASMR of me. Be coughing in your ear like that. Alright. So let's continue on with the front here before moving on to the back. Oops. Oh well. What did Bob Ross say? Happy little accidents, happy little trees, all that happy stuff. Yep, folks, tune in for ancient history. Like and subscribe. Oh, that looks cool. Look how neat that is. Kind of falling into the folds like that and darkening. Yeah, it's definitely too brown. So I'll have to figure something else out about that. I mean, he looks 100% cooler than the white plastic that he started out as. Alright, moving on to the back. You know, there's some mold lines on him, but they're not bad. So folks, this is really easy. The dry brushing is a good technique to learn. I learned how to dry brush 30 years ago. It was a good technique then, and it's a good technique now, because, you know, that's just the way it is. So, learn how to do that. If you want me to make another video just about dry brushing, I can do that. I love comments. That was quick. This is the first time I've used contrast paints. First time I've used markers. First time I've painted in a long time, actually, folks. Alright, I like that. That's really nice. I wonder how it's going to look tomorrow, if it's going to lose some of that shiny. I hope so. Because that's kind of distracting. I mean, there's a lot of light on it right now. But still. Alright. So I'm going to finish off with his coat here. There we go. Oh, doggone. Dude's got an axe in this hand and an axe in this hand. And an axe tucked into his belt here. And I think that might be an axe tucked into his belt there. Huh. A little brown on his belt. I hope this is staying in focus for you guys. It would be disappointing to me if it wasn't. now, alright, get in focus, there you go. Now I'm going to get right in there, below the jacket, and or below this cape thing, and above the belt. So we'll see how the marker here does. Come on, get in focus. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Oh yeah. Just like a brush. Seriously, just like a brush. Well, yeah, that is an axe on his left side and his right side, because there's the handle back in there too. Yeah. Nice. Alright. So, there's the top half of him. Alright, and I think I'm done with the hardened leather. Need to get a drink, I'm parched. Alright. So, looking at okay, I'm glad I stopped there because that's 3 horns protruding from the top of his head. And alright. Alright, the picture says he's got brown boots, too. I don't know. What do you guys think? Black? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks. Thanks. You know, I love it. I love it when you guys agree with me. You know, especially if you're the feminine persuasion. Agreeing with me is like ambrosia to the senses. Tune in for more weirdness. Like and subscribe. Let's see. Grave Lord Gray and Grim Black. And a desk that has a tilt to it. Watch. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's like when you take your car to the mechanic or the auto store and you're saying, you know, it's making this noise, and they go out and you turn it on for them and they're like, I don't hear anything. And we're like, well, yeah, it's not making the noise now, you know. But see, that's what I'm talking about. All right. So what's next? think we're going to do I don't know, gray and black or switch back to brown. I think I'm going to do the gray pants and brown boots. Well, there's the inside of the cloak there too. You see it right there? That needs to be painted brown too. I want to have a little contrast, so I do think that I'm gonna go with the black boots and gray pants. So I'm gonna get this alright, you're not gonna be able to see it because I've twisted it so that my hand's over here where his back is. So I'm going to not bore you guys with the tedium of me painting the inside of his cloak. Huh. Well, maybe I should have given it a little squish to reload it a little bit, but, you know, after just like half a second, it started flowing again, so no big deal, I guess. All right. Really tight quarters. Getting up under there, I'll point it out with my my brush, wherever that little. All right. Well, anyways, there it is. So it was really tight quarters getting up under there on his right leg. There's a little bit of cloak hanging down on the inside of his leg. So it's really tight quarters getting in there, but the marker got in there. You know, dab, 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 instead of brush, brush, brush. So. Oh, okay, so he's got a sleeve there too. Right. Come on, focus. Doink. Okay. He's got a sleeve there. Alright. Let's cap this back up. And go with the Grave Lord Gray. Alright, so just for kicks, I'm just going to hold it down and we'll make a count of Mississippi's to see how long before it completely fills. All right, you ready? All right. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Yeah, that's not really working for me. I do actually think it needs to be pumped. Come on. Sorry. Okay, so it does need to be pumped, but it doesn't need to be pumped like mad. It just need to be pumped a few times. So, all right, I'm going to get in here. And I'm going to do grape hands. All right, I don't know what that is, but it's not pants, so I'm not going to paint it. All right. Oh my goodness, there are more axes. So 1 in each hand, 1 on each side of his belt. And he's got 2 on the outside of each of his thighs. This man has a serious thing for axes. I don't know about in the Gloomhaven world, but this indicates a problem in ours. Don't carry around axes, kids. Especially, 6 of them? 8 of them? Yeah. Don't carry around 8 axes, kids. People think you're looking for trouble. Like and subscribe for more parenting advice from a man who lives by himself. No, folks, I got a roommate. It's not that sad. All right. So, to keep with this gloomy aspect, there's a little bit of sleeve poking out, not on this side, but on this side. There's a little bit of sleeve poking out from underneath his cape. So we're going to just hit that right there. Need to get my goggles in there a little bit so okay. Oops. So I got his hand a little bit. That'll be all right. All right, so I got the sleeve there. I got the pants. All right, let's take a little bit of this gray. And dab it on the belt. Right there. Yeah. Alright. Now it is a darker brown. I like that. Alright, we've got a leather strap here. Across his shoulder. We're going to do that in gray. Alright. Alright. Let's cap this one back up. We're going to go for black now. Almost. And there we go. All right. Now, so we're going to go with black boots. Another tiny little mold line there. Could I have done something about them? Yeah. Did I want to? No. You know how long or how often I'm going to play Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion? Yeah, not that often. I mean, it might be a fun game. It's kind of like basics of D&D, except it uses cards for the heroes and the villains. Oops. Powers and abilities. So it takes all the guesswork out. You're like, well, what am I going to do this turn? Oh, well, the cards say you have this choice, and this choice. Which, when I played D&D, I bought a set of cards I was playing as a druid. This was quite a while ago. And playing as the druid, I had this deck of cards that, I just shuffled out of the deck what the powers and abilities were at my level, and just as reminders. Black boots. It's just so basic. But it does go along with the aesthetic of at least what it looks like on the side of the box. I looked inside the box and all the paperwork and all that stuff, and there's just scenarios there and things like that. It doesn't even talk about it's the basics of attack and all that stuff, but it doesn't even talk about like the abilities of this guy. Yeah, he's got a boatload of axes. He throws them. After that, I have no idea. He's an axe thrower. Okay, so the black is kind of flat, I think. The brown is kind of shiny. The gray is gray. All right. Honestly, I don't know what's next. I need to take a good look at this guy and take a look at my paint options here. All right. So I've got a belt buckle, and I've got axe blades, and I've got axe handles. I've got hands. Okay, that belt buckle there, that belt buckle there, and that amulet there, they need some gold. His horns. I need to take a look at the box. His horns are gray. Huh. So let's color those markers, or color those horns gray. Now he's got gray horns. I need to come back with a little bit of the hardened leather and get that hat right there. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. I just kind of had to get to the detailed work. Now, I would assume with the hatchetiness of his entire demeanor, that this here feller has a backpack full of hatchets. So I don't know exactly what to do about that backpack. I want it to contrast a little bit. So I think I'm going to go with gray and brown. So while I've got the brown out, I'm going to I am really liking these markers, you know. They do a good job. As with anything, practice makes perfect, but the learning curve on these seems to be pretty good, you know, because I'm getting good results. Just like that. All right. I need more light. I need a light up here. Got a light over there. Got a light over here. I need a light up here on top. I need to do something with that light right there. I need to move it around. So I think I'm going to do that before I broadcast again. Change my lighting. Okay. there's that. Okay. The progress so far. Move that light. Maybe that's a little better. Looks so much better already, doesn't he? All right. So now all right, I'm going to hit those axes with polished silver. Polished silver. Look at that. How fortuitous. Hey, you know what? That is probably a great idea. Something that I hadn't even thought of. Give it a good shake. All right, now. Like and subscribe for more antics. You know, it's a learning process, everybody. It takes a village, you know. And sometimes you have to create that village. You know, historically, villages, they had to be created. You know, there was a lot of people that just, hey, let's hang out. Yay, we got a village. But like one of my friends was telling me the other day that so not saying anything at all about women, but that when men get together, that they put their problem solving to their advantage. Wow, this is taking a while. So I have a friend that's a good mechanic. I have a friend that's a blacksmith. I have a friend that paints miniatures. Many more than I do. Boy, this is taking a while. What the hell? Alright, it is so slowly creeping. Yeah, something is wrong. Because there is paint where there shouldn't be paint on the tip of my finger. Alright, let's pull this out. Alright, I just removed the marker tip, and I'm just going to reverse it and stick it back in there. Alright, there we go. I'm going to put the lid back on that. This paint off my fingertips before it dries. Alright. Like and subscribe for more finger wiping. You know, my goal in life these days is just to crack myself up, because if you can't do that, then, you know, like I always say, if you can't laugh at your own problems, then you feel much more guilty laughing at others' problems. Like and subscribe for more wisdom, folks. Oh, there goes Clay breaking his toys again. Like and subscribe for more toy breaking. Okay, I'm done. It's gone beyond joke to the point where my ex-wife would have started looking at me funny because, you know, shut up, Clay. All right. I'll get in there and hit that belt buckle with some silver. Oh, that looks so good. All right. I hope that dries better than it looks right now, because that belt buckle had much more detail than it has now. It's disappointing. Alright, so let's take that buckle that's at the top. Oh man. Alright. I do not like the polished silver. That Alright, the belt buckle is drying and showing a little more detail. Alright. Judge not lest you be judged. Tune in for more. Yeah, and you know, let's not talk about what kind of wisdom that is. You know, it's just general wisdom. Alright, there's an axe blade. So when you're painting, it really is just a good recommendation. Don't hold like this and then try these gyrations with your brush or your marker to try and get where you're going. You know, these things can be held different ways. And if it works out for you to hold your model upside down, hold your model upside down. You know, let's kiss. Keep it super simple. That's my TED Talk. Like and subscribe. head. All right, due to the consistency of the polished silver, I would say that it is the least necessary to get that white undercoat, because it's pretty thick as far as contrast paints go, because that's one of the things with the three that I'd used so far, is that they're nice and thin. They spread well, as I believe they're supposed to be. Maybe the polished silver is just I wouldn't say marketing, but yeah, marketing. Marketing to get a metallic into the marker set. Of course, yeah, that makes sense. There's another tight spot there. Yep, got it. One tight little swipe. You know what? These markers are really nice. They lay down their color well. I'm not a fan of how the metallic here is drying, but I'm gonna give it another pump here, and okay. So anyways, back to the it takes a village thing. I know people that know lots of different things. I learned how to sew from people who know how to sew, who knew how to sew. It wasn't that difficult to get the basics down, but practice makes perfect. All right, I'm just going to hit the highlighted parts there and leave it. Does that look all right to you guys? Does it look like a bunch of hatchets sticking out of a open backpack? I think it does. All right. Cap this. All right. What's next? All right, now I've got a face. Also got some. What the hell? Oh, that's not cool. Looks like a piece of primer flaked off the top of his horn there. See that white spot there? So, no worries. Alright. Groovy, man. Oh, and one thing that I just realized that I forgot is that he's got, you know what? I'll just put a bunch of silver on there. I am going to break out the Zealot Yellow. Woohoo! Look at that. Zealot Yellow. And he's got these buttons on his cloak. You see those things? I tried to avoid them with the brown contrast paint. It didn't really turn out very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit him with this Zealot Yellow and see how that looks. Because why not? It's my party and I cry if I want to. Alright, well, it's slowly soaking through. Very slowly. so you can see it. See, all that time, and that's all we got. So I think after I hit the buttons, I'm going to go over the axe handles with some of that hardened leather. And I honestly, oh yeah, I've got pallid bone. That's what I'm gonna, yeah, that's what his face and hands are gonna be. They're gonna be pallid bone. Right on. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay. And I have 6 buttons. Alright, let's go with the most prominent one. Just dabbing at it. Right, look at that. Looks pretty good for not having a gold. Zealot yellow does alright. They're not exactly brass looking. But they'll do. Okay. Just another touch with the hardened leather right there on that shoulder strap, because gray doesn't really good. Good. Gray with the brown right there on top of his shoulder, because it was already painted gray with the sling for his bag. It was already painted gray because I did it previously. So I'm happy to see that by putting some contrast paint over that gray, that it's now quite a bit darker. All right, let's do this, folks. Just to contrast a little bit, I want to go over these straps again with the hardened leather and see how it looks. Oh, that's nice. That's considerably darker. Oops. All right, well, I'm going to paint over that with gray anyways. Happy little accidents. All right. Okay, I forgot to get that other axe in his other hand. There's the polished silver. Now, what I'm hoping, because if you've seen any of my previous videos, I stocked up on these paints. Of course, the markers that we're using, but the Air Most Wanted and the Fanatic Most Wanted. So these are going to be, I think these are going to be thick, because I've used the brush on primer, and I used the because that's pretty thick. The uniform gray is pretty thick as well, and I dry brushed with, what did I dry brush with? Was it the uniform gray? Anyways, oh, there's gunmetal, and there's true copper. Woohoo! True copper. I'm glad to see that. Oh, and there's greedy gold. Oh, greedy gold. All right. Well, it's got a good base coat on there of the orange. Oh, cool. Look at that. The cap. Just like all markers, the cap goes on the back of the marker. And by the way, these are, they're the perfect size. Just from the little bit of use that I've had out of them, all of my experience comes from brushes. I mean, listen, that's all my old brushes. So all of my experience comes from using brushes, and I like the way these markers are performing. The paint flows evenly. Will I take them on the road with me and, you can take these to your gaming group? Would I do that? No. But this job that I'm doing with them right now, they're doing just fine. I really like, as well as the paints that I'm using and all that, I really like this slap chop technique. It seems like it's a good basis to learn, and make it your own. I mean, I know that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it my own. Because like I just said, we've got the gold over there. All it's going to take is just a little tip of a little brush and good to go. All right, now focus, damn you. All right, am not liking the lower half of his body. There's not enough difference, in my opinion, between the gray, which was got grim black and Gravelord gray. And there's just, to be honest with you, there's not enough difference. I don't like, he's kind of got a shiny visage to him. And the more I look at it, the more I like it. He's got shiny hatchets in his hands. I don't see the need to put a wash on or anything like that. Not that do I have a wash? Well, this says I have one wash. I don't know what it is. Might be that dark skin shade. That would make sense for that to be a wash. So but I just don't like that the boots are so flat. All right, well, since the hardened leather is glossy and the strap over his shoulder turned out darker when I hit it with a second coat with the hardened leather, that's what we're going to do now. We're going to see if we can pull out a little more contrast between the grim black and the Gravelord gray of the boots and the pants, respectively. All right. Sorry about that. I keep running my magnifier up against the phone. Okay, so what are we doing? We've got the hardened leather. So let's go. I hope you guys can't hear my tumbly grumbling. But if you do, like and subscribe for more tummy grumbling. Alright. Well, that looks different. Alright, so I'm going to go in here. Oops. Well, I'm going to have to hit that with... Oh, hit that. Oh, and I painted myself. Hit that with the polished silver again. Alright, this leg is a little more accessible. Alright. Okay. Alright. Another touch up with the polished silver. So there is absolutely no way that I could do this for a living, folks. So we're looking at an hour and 31 minutes of using. Now I want to show this to you because the entire idea of these markers is that they are filled with speed paint, and after an hour and a half, I don't know. Is this speedy? Are these good results? What do you guys think? I'm totally not finished. Totally not finished. I'm gonna put this hardened leather. Oh wait a minute. Did I get what I was aiming to get? No, I did not. Just this one little bit of the haft of the hatchet. All right. Okay, looking good. Looking good. All right. So, I think with the application of that last little bit of, no, right there, got some. Looking at his backpack full of hatchets, the handles on, come on, focus, the handles on the front side. So I've got the hardened leather again, and I'm just gonna all right, looking good. All right. Now, we're going to hit that face with some pallid bone. Because I can't see the feller's face on the box. So who knows? But pallid bone looks all right. Even if I have to bring in some other kind of flesh tone with a wash. Not a highlight, but not a low light either, is it? So I guess don't be frustrated that these things don't just load up right away. It takes a little bit. Okay. Fully loaded. All right. So I'm going to position this guy upside down again. And I'm going to get in there. And I'm going to do his face. Not a lot of detail there. And it's not for lack of dry brushing. I didn't want to dry brush it too heavily because I would have obscured the detail. Okay, we're going to do that. Alright, since we've got a sleeve here that looks kind of flat, I'm going to hit that. And I'm going to continue it on down onto the hand. Okay, and I'm going to get that other hand. All right. Okay, let me cap this up and we'll take a good look at it. All right. Yeah, their faces don't have a terrible amount of detail to them. Missed a bit of his hand. I'm going to go ahead and give his face another coat here. This is a lot like a wash because it seems to be even thinner than the contrast paints, which I think is a good thing. Okay, let's go over the hands again. I'm really trying for a light touch on this right now, because in my experience, both with painting and I color with colored pencils, nice colored pencils, and I have found that putting layers down always looks better. Huh. All right, while I don't like that bleached bone or pallid bone. Okay. do a little bit of, see the bottom side of the brim of that hat and the outside edge needs more hardened leather. And this needs another reload. Okay. Polished silver again. I missed the front side of the end of the handles of the hatchets in his backpack. Okay. Okay. I do not know what to do about that pallid bone because I don't like it. All right. But I think that I'm done with the markers. So those are all the markers that I used during this. So I used hardened leather, of course. I mean, that's the majority of his outfit is hardened leather. The pallid bone, which I did not like. The grim black, which is pretty flat. The Gravelord gray, which is also pretty flat. Not much of a variation in shade between the Grim Dark and the Gravelord Gray. Used polished silver. I could give or take with the polished silver. It reacts pretty much like a metallic always reacts. It goes on kind of thick. Kind of disadvantageous when you've got a marker where the paint is too thick, because you can't control how much comes out of the marker. And then the last one we used was a Zealot Yellow. So with 6 contrast paints and a highlighting job, a dry brushing job, that's what we've got so far. And let's see, what am I going to do? I'm going to set those aside, bring up my wet palette. All right. All right, this is what we're going to do because it is right here. I've got skeleton bone and I've got brain matter beige. Now that is pretty white. skeleton bone, looking at all right, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I got dark skin shade. Ooh, that's definitely a wash. Okay. One drop. That's all that's needed. I got out true copper as well. That's one of the bright metallics that I have, so I'm going to go over. All right. New brush, old brush. Expensive brush, cheap brush. While this is a good size brush, I got these at Walmart. While this is a good size brush for applying wash to the whole model, I don't want to apply wash to the whole model. I want to just apply it to his face and his hands. So I'm going to go, what does this say it is? It says 1. Oh, the world is gone, I am one. Okay, so this one is quite a bit smaller. I think that will be more effective on applying just a touch of wash to the hands and the face. Okay, I loaded up just the very tippy end, and okay, and we're going to hit that hand right there. Uh-oh. My tripod is about to take a break on us. Alright, I will be quick about this. So that's one of the cool things about wash. See that little puddle there? I'm gonna dry my brush a little bit, and I'm gonna pull that out of there so it's not so dark and shadowy in there. Another little dab right there, and right there, and good. All right. Okay, I'm going to be quick about this because I still want to get it in here. I'm going to unplug my phone. And plug in my tripod. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, now I can continue in relative comfort. All right, so I'm going to take the same brush that I used for the wash. Clean it. And all right. And again, you know what? I'm not even going to get a drop because see that it's already coming out of the top. So I'm just going to load a little bit right there. All right, I'm going to recap this because it's spreading. I'm going to load the wet palette over here, and there's my little dauber bottle. Okay, so I'm just going to put one tiny little, actually I'm not even going to put the drop on the paint. I'm going to put a tiny little drop about a 1/4 inch away from the paint, and I'm going to drag it. There we go. All right, that's a nice consistency there. So now I'm going to hit that buckle because it got hit with the pallid bone. Oh, I like that. I like that. And I'm going to get all of those buttons. Oh, that looks nice. I like that. Okay. I'm going to wash the brush again. Okay. All right. So, because I am an anal retentive perfectionist at times, especially about these things, these guys, I'm 55. I was first introduced to Warhammer when I was 21, 22 years old. And I have had a passion for painting minis ever since then. I don't half-ass things. I am a whole ass with everything I do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up just the tiniest bit of this wash, and I don't like the way his horns look, because you know everything else has a gloss to it. I'm going to hit this sleeve here with a little bit of that wash too. See what that does. Okay. All right, that looks, it's passable. All right. I'm going to wind up doing something else to that sleeve. I don't like the way it looks either, but it's probably going to require a trip to my local Gamers Guild, gamersguild.com. They have a good selection of the Army Painter, armypainter.com. So I'm going to hit his horns here with another coat, a coat of that wash. Okay. A little bit more. And one of the things about wash is it takes a little bit of practice. It's an easy technique, but like everything, it takes a little bit of practice to get it down right, to know that okay, I've got too much wash on my brush. Sometimes washes are unforgiving too. All right. Clean the brush. See, folks, have a pot of water, okay? Have a pot of water on hand. Clean your brush as soon as you're done with it. Look, except for just a little bit at the tip, it looks absolutely brand new. All right. So one thing that I forgot was his backpack. Now, I just don't know. I don't know what color to make it. I think he looks pretty good. So, I don't know. What is this? Oak brown. Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. Doesn't oak brown sound good to you guys? Ooh. Now this is one of the air paints. Now the biggest difference between the air paints is, and you can't see it from my wet palette here, but the biggest difference between the air paints and the Fanatic paints is the Fanatic paints need to be watered down. Thin your paints, folks. This was true in the 90s when I learned how to paint, and it's true now. Thin your paints, folks. These are already thinned, but as you saw with the true copper, actually that's a Fanatics as well. See, I thinned my paints. Put a little bit of water in there. All right, so on with the show. Okay, and one tiny drop. Okay, because there's so little to do, and I don't really want to waste this stuff. Okay. All right, I need just the tiniest droplet of water. Okay. That really was a tiny droplet of water. And give it a little mix. All right. A little too much paint. When you're using paints, layers is always best. Really. I know I've said that before on this video, but you lay down a layer that's light. You find that it's too light. Just lay down another layer. What is it, baby? Huh? What? So between my roommate and I, we have 6 cats. His cats are older. My cats are younger. I've got one that's a couple of years old and one that's probably about 6 months old. All right, folks. What do you think? I think I'm done. If I had a wash that was blacker instead of brown, like the dark flesh, I would go over the metallic bits, but I think for 2 hours and 10 minutes, that's a doggone good job after a close to 30-year hiatus. So, all right. So up next, definitely not this video, but up next is going to be one of the other ones. I think I'm going to go with this guy. He's got a red theme to him, but I'm gonna do a little bit more dry brushing on that shield there and that chest piece in there because I'd like to see more texture with that. The chain looks good. That's gonna look really cool. The cape looks good. That's gonna look really cool as well. So, all right, here's one of the other ones. She's a sorceress, and she's, looks like white and gold. And to be completely honest, this guy is kind of flesh tones and a kaleidoscope of other colors. Well, there's the look again at the finished product. I'm pretty happy with that. I would be happy to put that on the board in a game. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. What can I say? It takes a village. You know something? Teach somebody else. Show somebody else. There's a lot of joy and fulfillment in teaching somebody something they don't know how to do. I hope you learned something today. I hope you take something away from this. Thanks for watching. You could have watched anybody. Like and subscribe. You folks have a great rest of your whatever.